Straight to the Point, hosted by Adelaide Evans. Tonight, our special guest is none other than Miss Troyonna Nielsen, aka Miss Johnnie May Baby. Now let's welcome Miss Johnnie May in, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
So let's just get straight into it.
Okay.
Are you comfortable?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
It's you.
You looking good? You feeling good? You smelling good?
I smell good.
Okay, awesome. Me personally, I have on some Fame tonight. I wish y'all could smell me because I smell delicious. So at the end of the day, let's get straight into it. Mm-hmm. So I know you're a little apprehensive, but trust me, this is a safe space. So tell us who Troyonna Nielsen is versus Johnnie May.
Cool. Okay.
Take your time. Take your time.
I guess I'll start with Johnnie May. I feel like I can explain her. She's a burst of energy. Johnnie May like transform. I don't know if I can explain her. She's like her own beast of her own. So confident. She run through. I want to say like a tornado because it's not like bad, but I've been told a lot of people can feel and see my presence before I even walk in sometimes, or like feel it, or just know that I'm there. And I'm starting to believe that's who Johnnie May is.
Got it.
Now, Troyonna, I'm like this.
Now, I would not even believe that. Only because you are a burst of energy, in my opinion. Like, you are one of those people that will captivate the room. So if there is, let me just give an example. Like, if there's an event and you're there, you can kind of tell when you're not the one hosting it because it's like lackluster. Now, when you're hosting something, it's major.
I'm like,
because I've seen you in action, and it's like something out of the extraordinary. So
it's such a switch, and it's so funny because most times when I either host people events, and they know me as Johnnie May, I'll probably show up as Troyonna, right? And a lot of people be like, "What's wrong? You all right? you know, you sure you all right? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm all right. Like, don't look at me yet. I'm just, it's not that time. And then it's like, as soon as they give me a mic, it's like a switch, and it's like, let's go. And sometimes I think it's, you know, most of the time I'll be nervous. You know, I get nervous in front of people. You may not believe it.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't believe that.
I just keep talking and talking. And that's most times I feel like how Johnnie Mae can be. I'll just be talking because sometimes I get a little nervous or inside my head a little bit. So that's why one of the things I'm searching for is to take improv classes, because I want to, you know, I don't build that part. I just don't want to just say nothing out my mouth. I want to be able to, you know, be a little, you know, better at it. I don't know how to explain it. I tell you, when Troyonna explains Johnnie Mae, I just look at her in awe. And sometimes I look, and I can't look at the videos sometimes because I'm like, that's me, really? So it is definitely a difference, I feel like. But I am working to try to connect the two just a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Would they be able to be connected, though?
Well, no, because I would have parts of me. Like, it's always different parts of me. I'm a mom, you know, I'm a supervisor at work, you know, I'm Johnnie Mae. When it's just me, I'm quiet. So I don't know if they can ever collide, but I just feel like, you know, parts of her, like how confident she is.
So how was Johnnie Mae created? Did you wake up one day and say, there's an inner beast in me, and I need to let her out. So I need to also give her a name. So
Johnnie Mae came about, I hosted, or I put together my ex 30th birthday party, and it was the Great Gatsby theme, and I love Great Gatsby. So I had this idea to recreate Great Gatsby, you know, the dress, where we were, and I was like, I can't go there as Troyonna. It's just Troyonna does not fit, you know, the 1920s. So I searched names. I think I put a poll on Facebook, and somehow it was Johnnie Mae. And I always like them unisex names, like male names for females. So I think that's what gravitated me to Johnnie.
Got it.
So, and then it just came Johnnie Mae. So we had the party. I created this voice all on the spot. I don't know. It felt proper in the room. And then after that night, everyone kept calling me Johnnie Mae, and told me that I should host, you know, other parties, and that it was a really good time. So since then, I think the first year I started doing Johnnie Mae, I don't know, people just started grabbing a mic, and I did a lot of things for free for the first, 2 years, just trying to get my feet wet and, you know, the whole idea. It was actually a lot of people who encouraged me to do it. And it was like, you know, you should try it. And it just became natural. It was all in just wanting to see people have a good time, smile, and laugh. Life is hard enough.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like you pay for an event to come to, or you get dressed. You don't want to just sit in the corner or, you know, scrolling your phone. I know that's what we get so used to doing. So I became the person that's okay with being in the middle, dancing and silly, and, you know, just saying it's okay for you to do the same, or even pulling people out their seats.
So did you think it would ever blossom into something this big? Because I think it's big. You may think it's small, but I think it's big. I think it's big because you're a big deal. So,
damn, don't get me crying, Adelaide.
Listen, we as black women, or just women in general, because I don't like to put titles, but we have to big each other up. Because if we don't big each other up, no one else will.
You're so right. And I find myself, you know, bigging up, you know, everyone else around me, you know, and then may not be doing it for myself, but I'm working on trying to give myself big ups. But I guess Johnnie, I don't know. People like you makes me see Johnnie Mae bigger, shall I say. So, I mean, I'm starting to believe. Well, matter of fact, I believe she's a big deal. I differ. Maybe last year, 2 years ago, I didn't see it. You know, people tell me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I'm accepting it a lot more now.
Got it. Let's see. So let's, can you describe to us your work and life balance? Because I know everyone has that different person. So I used to describe situations like, okay, there's 3 different areas in the closet: the freakum, the work, and the mom.
Okay.
So how do you describe like the work-life balance?
I don't know. I would like to say sometimes I can be, I guess I used to say I was a workaholic, or more so I'm a high achiever. My job is very performance-based. And anything that I put my name on or touch is very important to me that, you know, I get the best outcome of it. So my work life, I kind of run it the same because I feel like they're my kids in a sense. I'm constantly correcting them. You know, I'm constantly encouraging them. I'm their shoulder to cry on. You know, if they have issues. I have 15 different, you know.
Oh, I know that feeling. 15 different personalities, 15 different people.
Yes, you know, to kind of look after. So sometimes it gets kind of hard to shut it off, transition into mom. That's why I'm so grateful that, you know, me and her dad, you know, come up with an arrangement where I can have a week off with no kids. Yes. Oh.
So how is the week off?
The week off.
Do you plan in advance, or do you just do like a impromptu? Like,
it's mostly impromptu. I keep saying that I want to. Before, I used to just pack my weeks up and just be running. Now that, you know, I'm getting my house decorated and in a peaceful state where I want to be home, Mondays after I drop them off at school, it's like I'm just want to be home all day, not do a thing. You know, I'll drive in silence. My house be silent. I barely turn the TV on. Just everything's silent for at least the first day. And then most times I plan things, you know, I work multiple jobs. Not only do I do Johnnie Mae, I'm a braid assistant for More Than Braids. I'm her food assistant for More Than Food.
Oh, wow.
I also help in, you know, just a lot of my friends. If I believe in something that they're doing, I find it easier to, you know, support them and be there for them. Yeah. I feel like I'm a servant in a way, and I'm okay with that, you know. Nice. I get pleasure being able to help people.
That's awesome. So when it comes to self-care, how important is self-care to you?
It's really important. I'm trying to get to it, honestly. I'm trying to get better with self-care, and just, you know, one of the things that I have been working on, I have gotten a lot better with is, you know, not having my phone in my hand. Even with social media, you know, you can kind of get caught up with scrolling, and time can just fly. And I look at a computer all day, and I'm like, here I am looking at a phone, and it's just really not good for my eyes. So to kind of take a step back, put my phone down, nighttime, have my glass of wine. That's one of my faves. And just kind of relax. And I want to get back to writing if I can. I feel like that will be a part of self-care. My hands, my nails, doing that frequently, making sure that I budget my dollars to put those into my schedule, to things to make me feel happy more.
Yeah, budgeting the dollars is very important. I find myself here lately doing a lot of self-care spending. And in my mind, it's like, okay, so yeah, just do it. And then another part of me is like, no, you should be saving that. But, you know, I'm trying to get a balance as well.
I had that. It's funny. Me and my girlfriend last night was talking on the phone, and somehow she was like, okay, well, let's pull a book out, because I will overthink everything and wonder whether or not it's, you know, a need or a want. How do I define those things?
So let's talk about overthinking. Let's talk about the video that Johnnie Mae made for her special viewing on Straight to the Point.
Oh.
Let's talk about how Johnnie Mae was a little bit of overthinking when it came to that. Initially, when she sent me the rough draft, I was like, oh, it's decent. And she was like, no, it's something missing. No. And I'm still saying in my mind, like, it's decent. She's like, don't post it yet. I'm like, okay.
I do that with everything. That's why. I do create a lot of content. I'm actually very interested in being a content creator because I gravitate towards. I can do it. I understand it. I actually do a lot of content for my friends and, you know, different things that I'm doing. But I'm so critical of myself. That's why you don't ever see like the content that I create. It can take forever. I have like maybe 10 videos in my phone that I created because I feel like I have to go away and then come back. And I knew it was a deadline for this one. So I was just like, I'm not going to do what Troyonna normally does, because in my mind, it was supposed to be a couple shots. I don't know who was going to be mom. So I'm like a visionary. So I see things in my head. And sometimes if it does not come out that way, I can be very critical of it. So I've started sending my videos prematurely to like my best friends and to, get their feedback. And they girl, post it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna post it for you. A couple of times they grabbed my phone and posted it for me. And I'd be like, no, it's there.
So I recently saw that you were taking like a burlesque class.
Ooh, yes.
And I also saw in the midst of the burlesque class, you had did a video, I want to say maybe last year, and then you reposted it because I guess it popped up in your reminders. And you were very emotional. So let's talk about why you were emotional and why did you feel like I'm supposed to be here, but I don't want to be here, but this is what I'm supposed to do. It's like a whole bunch of emotions wrapped into one. Man. So let's break that down a little bit.
Sure, I should have watched it again. So that video was 4 years ago.
I thought it was a year.
It was 4 years ago. And that was such a big day. That was my first burlesque class. And after I did the dance with me and another young lady, I bust out crying. I was filled with so many emotions. And it was probably about 15 ladies there. It could have been about 20. And they all just came up to me and hugged me. And I didn't even know half of them at all. And I was just so overwhelmed with the emotions. And I think around that time, I had, just decided, to leave my husband and, go out into this big world by myself. And I just, all those kind of negative thoughts that kind of come in your mind when you know you need to do something, and I don't want to say you scared to do something, but I don't know. I just finally made the choice to leave, and it was just a lot going on in our relationships that was like that affected me mentally, negatively, like kind of beat me down to the point where I didn't know who I was, what I wanted, and things like that, because all I knew of was to be a mom, to be a mom, and to be a wife, and to do those things that I was routinely doing, because it was not about me. It was about, my
everybody
family.
Else.
Yes. So when I went, it was funny because I told Shauna that I always gravitated towards dance. I remember being a kid. Remember that Genuine song, and at the end he had the broom and he was dancing like I was that kid in the living room. I always liked dancing. I tap dance for a while. I always wanted to ballet, but I really like the art of dance and what people do with their bodies. I think it's amazing. And I was like, I really want to go. And I was scared. And Shauna, she's the instructor. She's on Facebook as me. She was like, you should come. Like, no, come. So I was texting her that day, and I was like, I don't know what to wear. Because I feel like every occasion, you got to have something to wear. And my outfit didn't come what I was going to wear. She's like, no, come. So I went to Rainbow. I found something cute. My hair was done. I'm like, okay, I could do this. I think I may have knew like one or two people, maybe not that many people. And I decided to go, and I tried the dance steps, and I just, believe it or not, I don't like a lot of people looking at me.
I don't either.
I don't like, when I'm Troyonna, I don't. When I'm Johnnie Mae, she
like this right here, even though there's no audience, it kind of freaks me out low key, but I'm getting used to it.
I don't know what it is. Like, I feel nervous now, but I also feel like, I've done this multiple times. CMP Radio is just family. It's the station for sure. And I always feel like home and safe here. I don't know, but it's just like that whole all eyes on me, like even now I feel like I'm closed in. I'm trying not to be, like mentally I know.
Like, shake it off.
How am I looking over there? Because I just keep going like this and crossing my legs. I'm trying not to.
Yes.
I know. Where am I at?
You're fine. You're in a safe space.
Okay. I don't know where I'm at now in the conversation.
So, the burlesque.
Oh, the burlesque class, yes. So I danced, and like I said, I cried, and it was real good. And I think, I was overwhelmed with emotions, and I just kind of recorded the video. And I went back and forth on whether or not to post it, and I waited to the very end of the night, and I was just like, I'm going to hit send. And then I went to sleep. And I got text messages and kind of phone calls, and and to this day, I probably don't even know what I said because I won't watch it again. And maybe I will later on down the line when I'm a little bit more comfortable with self and to see where I was at then. Because, where I was at, I didn't want to be there. It is even.
It be the moment.
She have some tissues.
It be the moment.
So, I don't know. I think the burlesque class has helped me a lot with my confidence and just, looking at myself in the mirror and just looking sexy and feeling sexy. And the last dance that I just posted, which was amazing, it was a girl that was at the last class, and she was at the first class, and she was this beautiful BBW, and I just always like admired her when she danced. And I'm looking, and she just doing her thing, and I'm like, yes, in her zone. And then this last class, she came, and she looked at me and told me, like, girl, you ate it. Like, all of them was like, you ate that dance. And like, for her to give me that compliment, a lot of other people, did in the room, but it was major for when she gave me the compliment. Yeah. Because, like, not only did they all confirm it, or she confirmed it, like, I felt it inside, that it was like a different beast, that night in dance, So,
yeah, for me watching the video, I got a little emotional because I could feel the emotion coming through the video. And, like, even for myself, sometimes, this is my 4th show, believe it or not. 4th show.
Yes.
And I normally don't go back and watch. Now, the first week, I was going to watch the whole thing, see if I didn't make any mistakes, what can I do, But then I was like, no, I don't want to do that because then it might discourage me. So I was like, no, I'm going to just leave it alone. Now, last week, I watched the whole show back. It was so many comments. I wanted to see what the comments said because, you got to watch the show to get all the comments. So I was like, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. But, for the most part, that's that self-doubt of myself as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt the emotion. I definitely felt like you did a good job. And I just know, when that self-doubt comes in, and if you can master it, that's a winner chicken dinner.
It is. And I have a lot of ladies who inbox me and say oh my God, I want to do the class. I want to go. And I would highly encourage you guys to go. Shauna makes it such a safe space. It's fun. She gives wine. She have, stuff for us to nibble on. And it's like, when we get back to see the other ladies, and some of them, I don't even know their names. Probably 3, could have been like 10 ladies in the class last week. And I probably only know 3 of their names. But when I see them, it's like, I'm so happy to see you. It's like my spirit, I just connect with other people in that way. I believe in energy and I believe in power. And the only reason why I believe is because I feel it, and sometimes it's kind of hard to explain. And it's just like, I don't know, just give me a hug. Come on.
You can tell when it's good energy and when it's bad energy.
Absolutely.
And I try to steer clear of the bad energy. I took a burlesque class one time. I maybe, COVID has my brain blocked out. So maybe 6 years ago, I didn't even know what to wear. I was like you. I said, well, let me go to Rainbow. I said, I'm not ordering enough. Or did I go to Rainbow? I think I went there to get some tights. But because I feel like for me, I may look like I can dance. I can probably do a little 2-step, but I'm not a dancer person. So it's like, do I really want to go? And then I was like, yeah. So then I end up going. I had a good time. Could I tell you any of those steps today? No, but I had a good time. So that kind of got me out of my comfort zone. I'm in a stage of my life where as though I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone, the shell, as I call it, because, I'm getting older. I want to experience some more things, but I got to come out the shell first.
Right.
And this is, the show is part of me coming out the shell. So
yes, and I've seen a difference even before first meeting you. But would you do the burlesque class again?
I would. I would.
Well,
because I was thinking about doing it with you, but I think I might have had community conversations that week.
Oh, and you have them every Monday, so you may not.
Mm-hmm.
So the classes are at 7 p.m. She does post them on her page. Her next one is March the 6th.
I would have to hightail it from there to wherever. Probably be a little late, but I do want to do it.
So we usually start, the first 30 minutes is everybody kind of reconnecting, talking, saying hello, waiting for everybody to come. So we usually start about 7:30.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I'm going to check it out.
No, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, so I know you have 3 beautiful babies.
Yes.
Well, baby is an understatement.
No, they're my babies.
They're no longer babies, but they're your babies. So how has motherhood been? And if there was one thing you could change, what would that be?
Motherhood has been a roller coaster ride, very, very much so, in every way imaginable. I have 3 children in 3 different stages. My oldest is 12. My middle child, she is 9. She'll be 10 this year. And only reason why, every day she is planning her 10th birthday party. I had an idea maybe 2 years ago of what I was going to do for her. It's literally, daughter, you tell me what you want and we're going to do it. literally every time I see her, she has a new addition to her birthday party that is not until November.
Oh, wow.
It's to the point where my oldest daughter bribed her to stop talking about it, you know? And then I have my son. My handsome son. He's 6. He's my one. And I always said I wanted my son so bad. I wanted 12 children, first of all. I don't know what I was thinking when I first, thought about it. It was a lot of love. I come from a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's the only child. My dad's the only child. Was raised by my grandmother. She was a workaholic, and then my papa was there. But it was always an only child environment. I'm not only child. I do have a brother. But we didn't grow up together. Mm-hmm. So I just, admired the family aspect. It was something that, I felt like my family didn't have. So I wanted just a lot of babies to be able to create it. Well, thank goodness that didn't go, because these 3 give me a run for my money sometimes. We laugh, we cry. I feel like it was hard maybe like 2 years ago of trying to gentle parent and, just keep that consistency. Mm-hmm. But in certain situations, it's paying off. I really see that it is working. And I just be blown out my mind that I'm creating human beings, to walk this earth and do great things.
To carry on you.
Yes, I cannot believe it. It shocks me all the time. I look at them sometimes like I'm a mom.
Are you mine?
Right. Everyone thinks like Amani, is that your sister? I'm like, oh, Mom, stop. I'm like that mom now where she got to tell me, Mom, this is what they said. And I'm like, no, child, stop it.
Is that your sister?
Is that your sister? I guess it would be a good
So she just turned 12, right?
She did.
So you don't have to experience the teenage factor until next year.
I'm a good tween. I feel like it sometimes. She acts a little older than she did, but it's more so because she's very smart. She very pick up on things very fast, top of her class. She's a left hand, and I just feel like that's very important. Left hands they think, I guess from a different side of the brain. So she's very analytical, and she could just watch and really catch on. So we have a lot of, button heads more so, and for me to tell her, although you're smart, you lack experience in life. So I say that often to her, to kind of get her to understand, hopefully, kind of build that open door policy where she does feel safe to come talk to me, because it is that
very important.
Yes, it is that time that we do, because it's certain things that, come out, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't have said that to my grandmother growing up, but I felt like, I was taught a different way. It was just don't be in the room, but don't speak. Type of deal. You have an issue with what I say, but don't say nothing. So I allow her moments to be able to express herself. And it's a little frustrating, but sometimes I feel like it does pay off. And recently we had a button back and forth, and, we were kind of yelling, and I was about to tap her mouth, who are you talking to, little girl? And, for some reason something told me not to, and I'm glad I didn't, because, when we had our cool down moment, she just hugged me and apologized to me and, sincere, and pretty much told me how her day was in school, and people was teasing her. So allowing her that moment to express, herself was very important and a little eye-opener for me. So I'm constantly learning as a parent, and just recently talking to her, we was watching the parent test, and they have 12 different parenting styles, and it allow us to open conversation on what kind of parenting style that I do, and if you were in this situation, would you do this? And I lost my train of thought that fast.
Parent test.
It was the parent test, yes. Now I'm getting nervous because everybody probably looking like, what are you talking about? Give me a second.
It's all right. It is perfectly fine.
Mine be going a mile a minute.
Trust me, they are sitting there and all trying to see what you're about to say. They could care less if you just stumbled over your words.
But it just left out. It was something that was very eye-opening, and when we talked, I'm gonna have to revisit it because it's really going right now. Watching the parent test. Yeah, I don't know. If you guys can, I definitely would agree to watch the parent test, to have the different styles, whether to see if you're a helicopter parent, if you're a strict parent, if you're a new age
helicopter parent.
So one of the parents that's just always hovering over their kids, making the choices for them. So they set up tests, they had a stranger danger test where it was like the parents left the home and the kid went home by herself, and someone knocked on the door. It was like a cable guy. So the question is, will your child answer the door and uphold the values that you set in place that's in your house? So they had like the strict, the high achievement. They had it's just so many different.
Could it be
parenting
combination parenting?
I think that's what the new age was. It's just a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
You know, just to see the certain kids that do stuff, or they put like the kids in the candy store and see whether or not they was going to take a piece of candy. So me and my daughter was talking about it, and she was like, "No, I wouldn't." I said, "No, but it'd be Andrew. Andrew would be my one that would. I'll walk out the store and tell him, don't touch a thing in here, a piece of candy.
He'll test the water.
And I don't know what it is. I have no clue because, you know, I don't play with my kids, you know, and their dad doesn't either. So I don't understand why he's a little different. I mean, he definitely was very different.
I think
you know,
it's
different
more, I think it's
circumstances.
more so like the outside interferences. Like, you know how you can send your child to the most appropriate school that you feel is most appropriate. And then they come home and you like, where you get that from? But we got to remember that they're in a classroom with maybe 20 other kids, 25 other kids. And they're all bringing something different to that classroom. And they may also share some things that's not being taught or shared in your home. And the child is like, oh.
No, my son been here before.
Well, let me pick that up too.
I would like to say that he was heavily influenced, and probably some things that he is. I mean, but my son,
He an old man.
He does sometimes. I be just looking at him sometimes and be like, where did I don't know. He is just something different. I mean, for the people who's watching who knows Andrew, they can probably understand exactly what I'm saying right now. He's just so different, but he's so lovable, and I can't. But it's very important to me that I am consistent with him, and that everyone around me is consistent with him as well. You know, I have to get on my dad every now and then. And, you know, he's the grandpa who just want to give them everything and do things and, you know, allow them to watch TV during the week when they're not supposed to because it's a school night. And when he do stuff and he doesn't like the way I reprimand him, but I got to remind him he's a black man in America, you know, and he has to understand consequences even at 6. And he understands you can have full sentences. You can have a full conversation with Andrew, and he'll tell you, like, keep going. He's listening. He'll ask what a word means. So at 6, you'll find yourself explaining yourself to him. So many family members, friends, they be like, why am I explaining myself to you? And he be intently listening too and understanding. And I know we talked about Amani, we talked about Andrew, but my pudding bear, Aria, she's gonna be
She's the middle.
She is the middle, and she's gonna be me. She's a empath, the sweetie pie, and I get so a little overprotective of her because I don't want people to be, because she's so sweet, to kind of run over her. And luckily, you know, her dance class and people who have have a chance to help mold Aria, they be like, you ain't gotta worry about her. She gonna hold her own, even though she an empath and she definitely, you're gonna hear her roar. So I'm just so happy because sometimes as parents, you know, we know what we go through or what we went through, and we don't want them to be bullied or anything like that. So I'm just like overprotective, but you know, sometimes you can't be that helicopter parent. You have to allow them to
remember that, because I think I might be a helicopter. I might be a couple of those things on that test. And then I find myself having to step back because I be thinking to myself, like, okay, do she think I'm crazy? Because I have 3 children myself, but the average person wouldn't even think that because they always see me with the youngest. The 2 oldest are, let me get it right, because I'm not old, and I don't want to tell their age because it's going to be like telling my age, but they're 27 and 22. So...
Really?
And then I have a 14-year-old.
Would have never known that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you young child.
I even said my age the other day to a child, and she was like, no, I thought you were like 30. I was like, no. I was like, I'm going to show you my license when we stop walking. She's like, all right, but I still don't believe you.
That's that drinking water and minding your business.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. I don't like the BS. I like to, like I said, stay in my bubble. So, yeah.
That's what it is, because you're good.
Yeah, thank you.
They're
old, and I have 2 grandchildren. 6, she'll be 6 in June, and I have a grandson. He's like a grown man like Andrew.
I don't know.
My daughter sent me a video today of him literally vacuuming. He's 1, vacuuming with the real big vacuum, and was moving it with his
wanting
hand.
to do it probably.
All boy. But,
wow.
But that's probably because of that liquid gold. She breastfeeds. She's still breastfeeding him.
Oh my God! I wish I would have got to a year. I mean, I only got breastfed until like 6 months with my middle child. And she was definitely to the hip. No one could hold her or anything.
He goes looking for it. I said, what? She said, yeah, Mom, he looks for it. But yeah, so I think I might need to take that test so that I can ease up a little bit on the younger one. Yeah, she's about to be going to high school, so I'll be trying to give her the jewels to the extent of, like, if you can master what I'm giving you, nothing will get in your way, but it will still get in her way because she has to learn the lesson that I was already learned, that I always, you know what I'm trying to say. But for the most part, like the day she came home from school and we were riding, she was like, I really want to tell you something, Mom, but you're going to ask me, is it about me? And I'm going to tell you no, and you're going to be like, I don't want to hear it. I said, you seem bothered. Let me hear what it is. So she's telling me about all the kids in the class, and I'm just listening because I feel like she had to vent it out. So I let her vent it out. But oftentimes I'd be like, is it about you? And she'd be like, no. I'd be like, I don't want to hear it then. But today I was like, she really need to get it out. So let her get it out.
Yeah, you never know what's going to come out of the kids' mouth and what they learn there.
You don't.
I be clenching my pearls sometimes.
Don't.
I'm like, okay.
And considering the fact that she's been in her current school for the past, this year makes 10 years, she's tired. She's tired. She's tired of school. She's ready to go. She's like, can I get a transfer? I said, not this late in the game.
Oh,
we got like
goodness.
3-4 more months to go.
Almost over.
And you'll be at a whole different atmosphere, whole different school, whole different new kids, all of that good stuff.
When we were definitely in grade school and high school, it felt like it would never come to an end. And now I'm about to be celebrating my 35th birthday.
Look at that.
Next month.
Look at that.
Oh, I cannot believe it. I don't even know what the time is. It's like I blinked and it's like
Blinked and it's going.
and it's going. But Tom, you can slow down, man. I understand we got 24 hours in a day, but you know,
listen, it's already, you think of it like this, it's already March.
I know.
We're gonna blink and it's already gonna be your birthday month.
I know.
March.
Next week, actually.
Next week.
I was reminded.
February is no joke. It comes in like this. Fastest month.
I was just really planning my 30th birthday party. I remember planning it, and now I'm planning my 35th. I'm like, come on.
5 years later.
5 years later.
Okay, so let's get into your clothing brand. So I know you have a clothing brand called Up Your Insecurities. So how did that come about?
My FYI. So it's definitely developing, and I feel like I'm going to be living proof when it comes out. Have so much to talk about, but I had so many insecurities when that came about, and I went to therapy, and my therapist started telling me more, about emotions and things like that, and pretty much give them a name. And I always knew that I had insecurities, but it's just more so saying it out loud, to help me identify it a little better. And then it was seeing some of my friends who I absolutely adore, admire, and look up to, and they put certain things down about themselves, like when you compliment them and things like that. And I realized that some of the things that I start doing, and it was like, man, F you, insecurities, like just F you. And I wanted to wear it on a shirt when I was doing a jam session one time. And Lou, when he was over town, he did my shirt. I was, looking for different designs. And I just I want to put it upside down. So it's just so when my insecurities rise and, my head begins to fall because of it, I'll remind that I'm more so in control of my insecurities, and my insecurities are not in control of me. So it was very important for me to try to flip it. So I bought one shirt, and it was really for me because, I'm hosting this event, and, anytime I host events, it's mind-boggling because, I want to please everybody, and I want everybody to have a good time. Not please everybody. I just want everybody to have, a good time. And I just put so much of me into anything that I decide to do. And I just got to be reminded, when those thoughts arise, and sometimes those thoughts can paralyze me, and I'll move slower. And next thing you know, I could be trying to figure out how to fold a napkin, and it's 30 minutes later, and I'm like, oh my God, I need something to remind me. So I have dreams to, not only have it as a clothing, but, maybe jewelry where it's something where the person that's wearing it, because they may not want everybody to know that they have insecurity. So whether it be a bracelet and it's upside down, if they're, right now, if I had one on and I could just look and it's just a reminder, get out of your head. I have so many ideas of the things that I want to do. And then now with it, and because I'm tapping into being or styling or stylish, I decided to, now I'm going to style my insecurities, not just wear them. I want everyone to, well, right now it's just more so an ideas for females. I haven't gotten to males yet. I feel like that's a whole nother beast for my mind to wrap around. I'm still trying to wrap it around for the ladies. But, I wanted to be, cute. I wouldn't say street, not just streetwear, where you can kind of take it to day or night.
Yeah.
I was going to wear something today, but I couldn't find the bottom. I was so upset. But, next time.
I feel like that is awesome. And I don't even have to ask the next question because you already answered it. I feel like that's an awesome idea. Like, I wanted to see how it was going to blossom into something bigger because you have a very creative mind, and I know that it can be something big. So that's why when you had posted the one time, you was like, well, until further notice, I won't be doing X, Y, and Z. And I was like, oh, what happened? Because, you want to see everybody win. No matter, who they are. You want to see them win. So for the most part, that's awesome.
Yes, and I have I have a bunch of hoodies. I have a lot of merch at my house, and I just don't push it, and I don't know why. Too much, actually.
Maybe sell on Etsy or something like that. Or maybe Amazon.
I feel like if I have, my friends here who's been asking for it, I be like, yeah, I'm gonna get it to you. I don't know if I'm scared to know what it might become, to tap into it. I don't know. I feel like I always.
That's that stuck in your head part again.
Yeah, give myself excuses.
You got to get out your head.
So before it was, and I feel sometimes they're valid excuses, like my home, like I said, it just wasn't as peaceful as I would like it. So that has been like my main focus now. So I was like, I wanted to kind of get that at peace first. And then, come to a place where, I can kind of sit down, think about my stuff. And then, get into other things that I want to do. But I had to find more manufacturers. Like, they messed up my stuff. And I'm like, this is not what I want. And then I was a little discouraged. So I was like, now I need to go to Joanne Fabrics. Now I need to learn fabrics. I need to learn cuts. And, my mind is going 1,000 miles a minute. And I'm just like, now it's that analysis of a paralysis. So it's when I overanalyze something that, it's literally a whole. So it is something that I want to do. I had my girlfriends, the fact that I was able to live around so many places. I lived in Hawaii, South Carolina, and North Carolina. The military has afforded, us to be able to move and meet different people. I have friends all over the world. My girlfriend in California, she be like, what's next? She actually just sent me a video 2 days ago of Cedric the Entertainer stating that he want creatives. He looking for creatives, and inbox him his business and he'll help. And she sent it to me, and she always, and I looked at it and I liked it. And I'm like, man, this could be, why don't you just inbox him? Yeah, you should do it. But I just feel like, I really need I need to go back to therapy.
You don't know what it's going to become.
I don't know what it's going to become. I don't know. I think a lot of self-doubt and things that I did, like in my relationship, and then, maybe speaking negative about it. I think it gives me anxiety, just a little bit, that maybe I'll start it and can't finish. Or maybe I'm not really serious about it, so I don't want to take those next steps and involve people. And, something happens, I get depressed, and now I'm taking 2 steps back. And, so now it's just like,
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, beating my head up about it.
But I don't think it's, well, it could be all of that. Let me just say, it could be all that, because I don't want to unvalidate your feelings, because it could be all that. But I feel like if you took the necessary steps to get all the merch, that's a step in the right direction. Yeah,
that's if they don't mess up my ideas.
True.
So, the hoodies are amazing. They're actually really nice fabric. I love the hoodies. It was a couple things where I wanted it off the shoulders and the cuts wasn't right. I don't want to constantly make excuses, because I do believe God has placed people in my life, who has offered their assistance to be able to assist me in those areas. And again, it's just like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to, you're already busy. I'm not going to put my crazy, because I could be crazy up here sometimes. Like, I drive myself crazy, so I don't want to drive someone else crazy. And that's just also, I guess, just being comfortable with me and opening up to people. I don't want people to know how crazy I am. And I'm probably not that crazy.
No, you're just in your head.
You're
just in your head.
A lot, believe it or not. See, and that's why I like Johnnie Mae.
Trust me, everybody has been there at some point.
Yeah.
Like, when I was writing out the questions, I was in my head. I had wrote the questions out, then I went back and took some words out, added some more, and I'm like, because you want them to be fitting for the moment. So it's like everybody has those moments, but then you have to find a way to get out of it.
See, and I know that, I'm very self-aware, so I know when I get in those moments, I can to replace a negative with a positive. That's what I, kind of been working on. It's just getting my limbs to move sometimes. So, because I do have the ideas. I'm such a creative. I give myself a pat on the back because I'll be like, wow, how did I create that? And even to look back at like most of my events that I've, curated myself and was so hard on, and just see how people really enjoyed themselves and how nice it was and all the accolades, and I felt it. I'm feeling it. It's just like I said, being more confident and just moving. Yeah. And I am going to get there. I am going to get there. I want to get there. I say it out my mouth more. I'm going to get out my own way, out of my own head, and I'm going to push myself because I'm destined to be great. It's something better than this.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Because if you can be everything for someone else, i.e. your friends, you got to be that person for yourself.
It's crazy. My Shauna, she told me the other day that I should be a talent manager because I'm sending her reminders like, all right, well, did you do this? Did you write it down? It's so easy telling somebody else, something else to do.
And then when it comes to yourself, you're like, I'm going to just tomorrow. It's always tomorrow.
But you know what? I'm, again, getting better at self-care. Recently, my grandfather passed, and it was just definitely a whirlwind. It was kind of unexpected a little bit. So I was able to take bereavement days, which I wasn't going to. Like I said, I have like my job, you take like a couple days off. It's like work is piled up, and then I like get anxiety trying to get caught up. So, I try to do a little bit every moment that I can. So I wasn't going to take my bereavement days. And I was like, something in me was like, you know what? Don't you better not log into that computer. Exactly. You better shut it down.
Take them days.
And I worked on creating content. I did my makeup for no reason. I rotted my hair that came out the next week after. I did all these things to be a content creator. It is definitely a lot. And I was actually happy with my outcome. I didn't post a video yet. I took actually a dress that I have on and styled it like 8 different ways out of my closet, just playing around.
Oh, wow. So while you were doing all that, were you filming it?
I have it all. I even put the video together, and I have like, you see me wearing a dress, and then it's like 4 boxes, and it's like me coming in 4 times, and then it's a really nice video.
I wouldn't even know where to start. I'd be thinking to myself like, okay, so if I want to do this, this, and this, what do I got to do? I just be thinking like, no, maybe that's not for me.
My friends look at me like, Troy, this is like really bomb. This is like amazing. I'm like, actually the app just did it. I just uploaded the pictures. And before, I do manipulate it. Now I'm getting better of doing it on my own, and I'm very interested, and I'll watch videos on how to do something. So I amaze myself sometimes too. So yeah, I do really good at that. So
Nice.
I gotta pat myself on the back.
Yeah, you do. Because when you sent me that video, I was like, I seen something pop up. I said, wait a minute, is it ready? So I'm looking. Okay.
I know.
I didn't know I was gonna be in. I didn't know my silhouette, my body was actually gonna be in there. I thought my voice was just gonna be talking over the video. I was like, oh, she did that.
I know. I liked it. And then the up next, and it zoomed down. But I think when it got to you were perfect. Your part was easy. Anything I do for anybody else is easy. When it get to my part, it's just like, okay, I winked wrong. Okay,
baby. Who you telling?
I winked wrong. Let me just
try how you be taking pictures of yourself, and you be like, no, that ain't going good. Let me turn this way. No.
That's how it is with the content creating.
And people be like, but wait, that was good. You be like, no. Something was wrong with that. My eye was up or something. My lip was down.
I know. And I think I just wanted like multiple, because again, I didn't really know. You asked me to be on this show, and I sent it out to a couple people to ask them to watch. I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about. I have no clue what the questions are. And I watched your first show, and I watched the second show with Corey. I watched half of it. And I'm like, okay, it's not bad, but, I admire those people. I admire Tiffany. I think she's absolutely beautiful. I admire Corey. Corey has known me since a kid. He could probably tell some stories. I feel like he's the one who helped start the the beast of being like a hype man or a party. He hosted when he first came out or came back.
His element.
Yes, he first came back as like DJ Choreoc, and I had my Sweet 16, and I didn't even go. I went to I didn't even go to the high, and there was like a lot of kids from the high that came. I was passing out flyers, had a little poem on there, my picture. My party was jumping in Eddie Stone, and he was the DJ. It was like one of those like sweat box. It was like amazing, like the party was. So I admire Choreoc a lot. So, and I feel like they do this often. So, you look at them, they great. But then what am I going to say? And I'm like, guys, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. But it was very easy.
Absolutely.
It was easy.
I told you, safe space.
It is. Because it's just you and I, even though the camera's kind of rolling. And I don't know what's going on out there.
Because at one point I was going to just say, let's just toss the question. we're going to just impromptu it. But, sometimes you got to have like a flow to it, to make sure that you're covering everything. But the good part about having a conversation with anybody is you can have questions and they'll probably answer half of your questions while they're just talking.
True.
Freely. So you like, oh, I don't even have to answer that. Let me say something else. Because, the burlesque question wasn't even on here. That just popped in my head. So
wow.
It wasn't even on here.
Oh, goodness. And look, you had me all emotional and tearing up.
But it's good because, showing emotions are good. Sometimes we don't want to. That's why we be so, like, as they call it, hard. But, sometimes, you got to soften. I know me, I got to soften sometimes. Because I know me back in, let me see, my 20s. You probably would have thought just walking past me, I just wanted to fight everybody. But that's realistically not me. Like, that's just like, as I would call it, my mask. But I've learned to, soften up a little bit. But catch me in the wrong moment, it might not be too good. But other than that, be soft. But,
See, I was never like that. I'm always like happy-go-lucky, unicorns. Like, just let's be happy.
I always wanted to be a free spirit, but I think the struggles of the day, it just make you just a little unhinged a little bit. Because, you think of some people that don't have children or don't have real responsibilities, and then you think of a person that has all that, and you're like, I see why you're so calm and so this, because you have nothing really to think about. Mind you, a mother, you like, okay, what am I make for dinner? What am I do for this?
Question
what
ever.
am I do that? And what am I do this? And then, you got your child on the thing saying, well, can you make crab cake egg rolls? And in your mind, you already got the spaghetti stuff in the car. And you're like, well, you going to get the spaghetti.
Listen.
This going to last us 2 days. Food is high. I'm not probably going to feel like cooking tomorrow. You need something. You need something to eat. This spaghetti won't work.
Listen, my kids is a little picky sometimes, and they could talk their way out of something because it just gets to the point like, child, just take it.
Yeah.
Just get out my face and take it. But this past week, I had a meal plan. This is what you eat, or you eating nothing.
Well, I honestly don't like going to the market anymore. I don't like going to the market because you can go to one store and have this whole meal planned out, get there, half the stuff out there. So you got to run to another market. Like, my daughter had asked me to get her some homemade pizza stuff last week. For like a couple days straight, she kept saying, Mom, I need homemade pizza stuff. I need homemade pizza stuff. So I said, okay, I'm going to go get the homemade pizza stuff. I had to go to 3 stores. I went to the Walmart Eddie Stone. They had everything. The line was from the cash register all the way back to the close. I said, I can't do this.
Can't.
Left it, went to another store. They didn't have hardly nothing. Went to another. I said, come on. Yes. I said, I'm not going back to that Walmart.
I can't stand that.
It worked out.
I know people that... why won't you shop from home? You do it.
I gotta see my stuff.
Oh well.
You might give me the stuff that's buried under some. I done seen them. What is them? Instacart people. I done seen them getting the stuff in the front. I want you to get my stuff from the back.
Time. I did it one time. It felt good.
And I don't want to be writing on a thing. Get my stuff from the back. They're like, oh, this lady crazy. I just gotta see it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do meats or anything like that, but I would definitely do perishables.
Or like seasoning or something. Yeah. All right, so what's next up for you?
Next up, so one of the things that I've been dabbling in is accessories and earrings, and I feel like when I'm Johnnie Mae, I can never go to somebody and get like earrings that I like. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna buy. So I literally, in like September, spent all this money on all these earrings, and they're just sitting. They're just sitting until Troyonna kind of gets out of her way. I did finally get like a setup and start taking some videos and things like that. But now I feel like I need more. I need to make sure that I have on stock. So
That's the in the head part.
That's the in head part. That's why I said I need to go back to therapy. I really am. And after we had this conversation, I'm gonna make sure I put that on my to-do list. I think that therapy has got me so far. Now, so many things has got me so far. Even like I would say, like the burlesque class has helped me in certain ways. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how I can correlate dance with real life. I don't understand how I can mix the two. But for some and everything, I felt like it helped me, and some like it's a big chunk of me prospering, because so many people was giving me my accolades, told me I can do it, see me as this person, and encouraged me to do it, and even open doors for me to do the things that I need to do. And I don't know.
But send me some of those pictures of the accessories, because I love earrings, I love different stuff like that, and I love it so much that sometimes I be forgetting what I have. Mm-hmm. Like I'll have a necklace and be like, I know I got earrings for this. Where is it at? Because that's the part of my life I need to organize. I need to get better at that because stuff be everywhere. But yeah, send me some pictures.
But it's coming because at the beginning of the year, I went to a vision board party, and there's a lot of things that I put on there, even down to the fact of wanting to create more content and do things. And each day, even me taking the time to say I'm going to do this today and actually do it for myself. So I see those baby steps. So I'm taking the baby steps. Awesome. And maybe they need like bigger steps. I'm going to start taking bigger steps.
That's awesome.
I start freeing up my time to put more time into me because I would put my time into, everything else.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I feel like over the next 5 years, I don't know, Johnnie Mae's going to blossom. My earrings, my looks, everything. And then maybe get back into being a podcaster. I miss my I used to write a lot, and I still don't. I haven't picked up the pen since the last time, I don't know, I was here for one of the CMP Radio's birthday celebrations, and I was very proud of myself. But I don't make the time just to sit down and get my thoughts out and write. And
got it.
I love doing that. It just became taxing of who I am and what I wanted things to be, trying to record people, put the videos together, also create the agenda, and then also be the person to do it. It was just
the everything.
Yes, like I don't know. Sometimes I like what I am for, certain people and friends. I wish I had like another version of me to kind of do those things that come easy. Like someone to make my videos where I'm not overthinking, and it's just like, oh, you send me the proof of it, and I was like, oh, well, just change this up, and we good. Instead of me having, being
to do it yourself.
Yes, because I'm too critical of myself. But I've gotten better. So people who has been following me over the 5 years, because I know some people probably heard this before, I see the strides that I've been making, and it's definitely, I'm starting to propel myself forward. Mm-hmm.
So there was a time where you and I had a conversation, and you brought up the fact that, or did I bring it up, about pure romance?
Oh. That was the time. I don't know how our conversations. I think you mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh, me too."
Wait, was we talking about that at the ball, at the inaugural ball? I don't remember. I do remember we had a good time there, though.
No, we were talking about because you thought that you had a Valentine's Day show.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Let's talk about that part. Let's talk about that. How I was literally going back and forth with myself, beating myself up, trying to figure out what I was going to do for Valentine's Day, thinking it was on a Wednesday, and the whole time it was on a Tuesday. Because I was thinking about, well, not auctioning off, but maybe giving away a Mexico trip I got. And you was like, oh, that would be a good idea, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, well, I got some other stuff. You was like, pure romance? But yeah. I, too, can't believe that I sold sex toys, but I did. And I was very successful with it.
Me too. And I joined when I was just leaving Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really have like a parent to guide me in that manner. Mm-hmm. And apparently I was the highest paid on her team. And it was just, I don't know. I think, again, go back to that service mm-hmm. Person, like going into an intimate home, people having parties. And, at the time, I wanted to rejoin marriages, and in the time I felt like pure romance in certain ways kind of helped my romance life, and I wanted to bring it to other people. So I would go in their home and they would feel comfortable talking to me, and we would laugh and have a good time, and it was just a really good experience. I actually liked selling pure romance.
I did too. I just never thought that I would actually do it. One day I just signed up and just went full throttle. And I was like, and that brings me back to when you was like, well, I brought all this stuff and I never even used it. I had spent a lot of money because they say it's better to have everything on hand. I'm thinking like, okay, well, let me buy this, let me buy that. It was not, I think it might have been either the beginning of this year or last year. I threw out a lot of product that I knew was old, like, the stuff you actually put on you.
Yeah.
That I knew I couldn't even give away if I wanted to. Somebody probably been to try to come back and fight me because I knew it was not right. So, yeah.
Well, I think I probably still would have done it if I had, better support. But I think, I was starting to pick up, right? So it's like a self-made business. It's a small business. In order for you to be successful, you have to put work into it. And, then, my ex was just reminding me, well, you got to be a mom. You still got to do this. You still got to do that. You can't do this. And it was just
do both.
It was a couple times where it was just like, like you're making this impossible for me. I don't need you're sucking the life out of it. And then I just kind of just stopped doing it. But it was something that, I kind of enjoyed.
I think right before the pandemic, I did a party, and I think I made like $900. I was like, yo. When I left out of there and I tallied everything up, because you don't want to do it there. Tallied everything, I was like, oh, 900. But yeah, it is a lucrative business. But you definitely have to put the work in.
Yes, and then the fact that we educate, like they provide, Pure Romance provide education for you. So not only are you just selling sex toys and things like that, they teach you about your bodies and how to use them and things. So I've learned a lot, within the business.
Yeah.
So I'm still connected with a lot of my PR sisters, and it's still nice to see them like grow and prosper in those things. So,
but I think just most of mine haven't been doing it. They've shifted to other things because of the pandemic. But it was definitely a good time.
Is it almost time for Adelaide's rant?
Is it? I'm trying to think.
Maybe.
I don't know if I want to do the one part of the rant tonight, but I guess I got to do it. So, let me thank Miss Johnnie Mae Baby for coming on straight to the point with Adelaide Evans. It was a time.
Yes,
it was a time.
Thank you.
It was a time. I got to figure out a way to incorporate moving forward. How do I bring other people back? Maybe like an anniversary type of show or something like that. Because I want to have a second take at everybody.
Yeah.
But I think
see where they are in like a year or even 6 months. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure Tiffany is going to be doing things. Maybe they could do some giveaways on the shows and. I foresee
you'll be in your content creative mode at that point.
Yes, and maybe I can give you a few people who you can kind of sit down and speak with. I am in a circle of entrepreneurs, that want to also like-minded individuals get their self out there. So maybe get Miss Burlesque herself, Shauna, out here to talk more.
Burlesque, yeah.
Yes, because she has a vision and what she wants to do for females is so empowering. Just how she come off. So I see a lot of I guess little her and me of being like nervous, and I'm like, no, girl, you're fire. Like keep going, like
female empowerment is a good thing. It's an awesome thing.
So I'll definitely have some people I can send your way.
Yes. Okay. Oh, here we go with this. We on? All right. So earlier today, I was fired up with this part of the rant that I wanted to talk about, and then a part of me was saying, maybe you don't want to talk about it because then it's like you're adding to the problem, but I'm really not adding to the problem because I'm more so just trying to get the information out there to those that may have not watched the council meeting today or those that may have even been in the room and was trying to figure out what was going on. So today there was only 4 line items on the agenda, which is a little surprising because normally it's like a whole list. Today was like 4. So for the most part, the meeting didn't get really spicy until, and yes, I said spicy. The meeting didn't get spicy until we got to number 4, which was the expenditure list. So, Councilman Roots said no once they came around to do the vote. Okay, so I thought that, everything was okay until, there was a public comment made about it. That public comment then turned into a whole nother different beast. So Mr. Roots then had to explain, why he didn't agree to the expenditure list and this, that, and the fourth, and this, that, and the third. So it turned into something bigger than I actually would have thought it was, but I also feel like that part of it was needed. Because there's often times where as though I feel like if someone says no to a vote, they need to explain. And today he was kind of put in a position to explain. Not saying that he doesn't ever want to explain, but he's never, asked, why didn't you do so and so? So on to the next thing. So there was also another public comment where as though a question was asked about the city giving keys to businesses, or as they prefer to, as partners. So one of those businesses was the soccer stadium. So the mayor, responded and said, at first he didn't want to, I guess, say exactly what that meant. He kind of danced around it a little bit, but then he said, well, the soccer stadium has provided the city with $15 million. I'm still trying to verify that information, because sometimes we as the community is provided with information that sometimes it can't be verified. It may be true, it may not be true, but oftentimes it cannot be verified. There was also talk of illegal dumping with the commissioner. The commissioner stated that, they are in talks with partners. They're trying to get everything under control. The public comment, the resident wanted to know exactly where they are with the data. Because as you guys may or may not know, someone has been arrested for illegally dumping. Yes, arrested. Is that a good thing? It's an absolute good thing. Because, we are already as a city looked upon as like a dump. So people come here and dump their stuff. So I feel like if we can get as many people locked up, they will think twice about coming here to dump anything. What people also don't know is if you're renovating a house, there is other ways to get rid of those items. You can even charge that person whom you're doing the renovations for just a little bit more money to dump those items, or just add it into your cost. But people are looking at it as, no, I don't even want to do that. So they're dumping stuff under the train tracks. They're dumping whole houses at one point in Memorial Park. I myself had to call and see if someone could pick it up because, 7th Street and 9th Street is like the focal point of Chester. So if you're riding from one end of town to the other, those are the focal streets. So if you have someone dumping a whole living room set or a whole house inside of the Memorial Park, that is very bad. Now, another comment was asked about the bankruptcy and do we feel like the receiver should be here if we should be in bankruptcy? Now, the person responded and said that no, bankruptcy was done too fast. We shouldn't be in it. But here's my take on it. There were two options on the table when it came to Chester: selling the water authority and bankruptcy. I knew in my heart that at some point we had to go through bankruptcy. One, because of the state that we are in. There is a lot of things that's inside of the bankruptcy that we may or may not never know that need to be taken care of. And I feel like the person who was sent here to aid us and try to make us whole once again is looking out for the best interests of everybody as a whole in Chester. So I do feel like the bankruptcy was needed. Did I want it to happen? No. But it's one of those situations where as though it's the inevitable. And that basically was the inevitable. What else I got? So let's get on to some good stuff. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. at First Pentecostal Holy Church at 324 Pusey Street, our mayor, who is currently seated right now, will be having a State of Chester address. Everyone needs to show up and come out and hear what he has to say. He is our current mayor. We need to know what's going on, and we need to also hear his point of view. So that's the one. The second thing is there's going to be a community collaborations. There's going to be 2 different dates, 2 different locations. The first date is also tomorrow from 6 to 7:30, and that will be in Upper Darby, 1008 Center Street in Darby. That's the first meeting. The second meeting will be next Monday from 6 to 7:30, same time frame, but it will be at the Anson Building, 419 Edgemont Avenue. Now, both of those meetings will try to kind of address the factor of the new juvenile facility being built. Everyone should come out, hear what's being presented, take what you need to take from that meeting, but also realize that even if there are 15 meetings for this one topic, that building is still going up. So we need to also sit back and think about how we can come together as a community and see what we can aid to that situation to put our input in, because we already know that building is going up regardless. On the 24th, there will be a Chester Skate Night. It is hosted by the Cat Center and also the Amachi Mentoring Program. That is from 4 to 8. That will be the final one for this season because everybody know that the skate park that's in front of Harris is not there permanently. It's just there temporarily. Now, you do have to register. You can go on the Cat Center's website and register. Everything is free. Just go down there, have yourself a good time. Even if you only skate around once and you've never done it, that's something that you can check off your bucket list. I'm not sure if everybody knows, but the Cat Center also has a cat club. It's like a youth-led social club. You can also find out more information about that on the Cat Center's website. Now, if you do not know what the Cat Center is, it is the Cultural Arts Center that's on 4th Street. They have a lot of activities. They have dance. They have offices you can rent. They have 2 different spaces that you can rent. They even have a computer lab. I know for myself, my daughter goes down there at least 2 or 3 times a week. She's in the art program, and she's also in the RISE program through the Andrew Hicks program. So those are a lot of different groups and different activities that you can enroll your children in to get them acclimated with other children and the community as well. On March the 11th from 9 to 1, there's going to be a women's health conference at Widener. Now, I just found out today that it's absolutely 100% free. The other best part about it is Patty Jackson will be hosting the event. So if you want to come out, intertwine, mingle with some ladies while also getting some health tips, it's probably going to be some food there. It's probably going to be some giveaways there. Come out and enjoy yourself. Also, remember that it's free. Now, I want to thank Miss Johnnie Mae Baby for coming on straight to the point with Adelaide Evans. I want to let you guys know that our next special guest next week will be none other than the Superintendent of Juvenile Justice Systems, Mr. David Azari. I hope I'm saying his last name correctly, but he will be coming on next week. Now, the goal for him coming on next week is to answer some of the questions that may not be getting answered in these 2 sessions that are taking place tomorrow and next Monday. So tune in next week. Make sure you have your clock set for 7 p.m. because he's going to be on. I'm going to be asking him those intriguing questions. There may even be some information that you can take away from that for you to get a better understanding as to who he is, why they're trying to put another juvenile facility, and all of the avenues that he's tried to take to make sure that our youth are being educated the way that they're supposed to be. Now, I want to thank you again for tuning into another episode of Straight to the Point, our 4th episode, of course. Next week will be our 5th. I am so excited. Thank you again.